Howdy, my name is Derek, and today I'm going to give you 3 things to consider when looking to hire a sports psychology professional for your child. I'm going to go meet my buddy Riley for lunch because I have a question for him, but also because lunch. Okay, so if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm a sports psychology nerd, and hands down, the people who reach out to me the most looking for some form of sports psychology help are parents asking if I can work with their child. So I was just thinking, if you're a parent, you don't know anything about sports psychology, what do you do? I mean, your only option's really just to go onto Google. You just kind of go with the first website you see that looks good. There's the guy right there. What's up, man? Hey. If you had to get like sports psychology services for your kids, what would you do?
I don't know how I would find them. It would have to be a Google or a LinkedIn search. I think that it's important for my kids to do sports and to be active. When learning something, there's a point where you feel discouraged. I think that there's an element of needing to push past that discouragement.
You want them to just get the help to like be resilient.
Yeah.
Do you have like any idea how you would find someone who like fits that bill?
No, I don't know how I would find somebody that fits the bill.
And we're back. So you saw from my buddy Riley, if he had to go hire someone in the sports psychology space, he wouldn't really know what to go look for. Today, I want to give you 3 things to consider when looking for a sports psychology professional for your child, and stick around because at the very end, I want to break a common sports psychology myth. The first thing to consider when looking for a sports psychology professional, what are the psychological needs of your child? In the world of sports psychology, there are 2 broad domains. There is mental health and mental performance. Mental performance refers to the psychological mechanisms that can enhance or decrease one's ability to perform. The easiest way to try to figure out what type of practitioner your child may need is to consider these 2 things on a dual continuum, ranging from low mental health to high mental health, or low mental performance to high mental performance. If your child is high in mental performance, but low in mental health, then you should seek out a mental health practitioner. If your child is high in mental health, but low in mental performance, meaning you start to see that there's a lot of things psychologically that are getting in the way of them performing to the best of their ability, then you should seek out a mental performance professional. And perhaps you think that they could use help in both domains. In this case, you can go and find a dually trained practitioner, or you can find a practitioner from both realms. The red flag to consider here is a sports psychology professional who says that they offer services in both domains, though they're only trained in one domain. This might be a mental performance coach who says that they also treat mental health concerns, or somebody who really only has training in mental health, but believes that that is adequate to understand the psychological mechanisms of high performance. The second thing to consider is credibility. On the mental health side of things, there's a lot of certifications that they might have or titles that tell you that they are a qualified professional. Psychologist, psychiatrist, licensed clinical social worker, licensed marriage and family therapist, or a licensed professional counselor. I'm not really an expert on mental health. However, I am an expert on the mental performance side of the house. And I can tell you, our side of the house is a lot more messy. There's no real laws or any enforcement to ensure that somebody who isn't qualified to do mental performance consulting doesn't do mental performance consulting. And there's a handful of certifications. Now, most of these certifications just come from someone's mental performance business. Hey, you pay me a lot of money and I'll say that you're an expert coach. Your goal when looking to hire a mental performance coach should find a practitioner that is evidence-based. The skills and strategies that they are teaching your child have some sort of peer-reviewed, academic, empirical evidence to back those things up. If your child was sick, you would hope that your doctor was giving your child the best treatment they could give according to what we know. And the same is true within mental performance coaching. To ensure that you find somebody who is an evidence-based practitioner, at a minimum, go look up their website and see if they have a master's or a doctorate in sports psychology. There is a gold standard for mental performance work, and this accreditation is the best way to ensure that the person you're working with is an evidence-based practitioner. Before I do get to that, I do just want to make one quick point of nuance. There are a lot of practitioners who do not hold this certification who are phenomenal practitioners. However, if I was a parent and I wanted to ensure that the mental performance coach who works with my child was an evidence-based practitioner and has put forth the hours in a sport context to be an expert in mental performance, the easiest way to find that is to find somebody who is a certified mental performance consultant, which is administered through the Association of Applied Sports Psychology. It is required by most organizations that hire mental performance coaches, and it's the only recognized accreditation for mental performance consultants by the NCAA. And getting it is no small feat. At a minimum, you need a master's degree. You also need to complete 400 hours of supervised mental performance work, and you need to take a large range of classes that are relevant for mental performance consulting, such as a sports psychology class at a graduate level, counseling skills, sports science, professional ethics, psychopathology, research and statistics, a handful of other psychology-related classes, and classes about diversity and culture. Then finally, a CMPC has to take a rigorous exam. And after receiving their certification, in order to maintain the certification, they are required to complete continuing education units that align with the class topics that I mentioned earlier. If you go to the website for the Association of Applied Sports Psychology, they have a directory for CMPCs. I will also include the link in the description of this video. The red flag that I suggest that you look out for here is a non-evidence-based practitioner. Here are 3 simple clues that you can look for to determine if somebody is a non-evidence-based practitioner. So 1, they have no formal training. 2, they give you massive and unrealistic promises when it comes to the outcomes of your child's performance. And 3, they have your child engage in weird activities that really don't seem to be counseling in nature or don't seem to have anything to do with your child's sport. The third thing to consider is affordability. Now, I will say that personally, I have seen mental performance consultants offer their services for a large range, from free all the way up to $400+. That range largely just depends on accreditations that he or she may have, experience, how many athletes they're currently working with, what level of athletes they work with, and of course, the cost of living wherever they reside. Now, because I mentioned the free end of the spectrum, that tends to be mental performance trainees, so graduate students who are trying to acquire the 400 hours to get their CMPC or the hours in order to graduate. So those are the 3 things that I think you should consider as a parent when looking for a sports psychology professional. And now I would like to break a myth for you. The sports psychology professional which you hire should have experience in the sport of your child. A lot of this derives from the belief that an excellent mental performance coach will just tell your child what they need and then they go and do that thing. And in order for them to best tell their child what they need to do, they should have experience in that thing. I haven't seen any academic evidence for this or anecdotal evidence for this. But if you think that your child would best thrive with a practitioner who just sits them down and tells them, hey, you need to do A, B, and C to be great, then so be it. In contrast, most mental performance coaches now use what is called a collaborative or athlete-centered approach, which essentially postulates that the service is best given when the mental performance expert and the performance expert combine their expertise to develop the mental performance program. And there is actually some theories to back up this claim, such as constructivism, which suggests that when the learner has to kind of think for their own and not just be told what to think or what to do, that they're more likely to remember it, to learn it, to do it. And self-determination theory, which suggests that when somebody has autonomy in their own learning, that they're going to be more motivated to continue learning and to adhere to what they had learned. That's all I have to say on this topic. If you are a parent of an athlete and you're looking to find a sports psychology professional, you can reach out to me. And if I'm available, I'd love to help. If it's outside of my domain of expertise, I'd love to refer you to somebody within my network of sports psychology professionals. All right, that's all from me. Keep on rocking. Like a mouse inside my let it go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Never know. Talking like Geronimo.